blue for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
What's up, boys and girls? It's Connor McManus here, back again with another video. Today I wanted to talk about the personal training certification itself. If you're interested in getting it, if you think it's worth it, stuff like that. I personally have my NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. There's a few other ones. There's ISSA, ACE, and then there's a few other ones out there too. All pretty reputable. Just kind of want to go over if they're worth it, where you're trying to take it, what the growth looks like, everything like that. So let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about is the price. Is it worth it? I'd say that's one of the biggest factors. Can you afford it? They have like payment plans, so you could pay $40, $50 a month, whatever it is. They have different options, I think. Kind of makes it a little more worth it for you instead of dropping $800 to $1,000. But I'm looking on their website here right now, and it looks like they're ranging from anywhere from $1,700, and that's 25% off for the all-inclusive program. It probably comes with like video modules and a hard copy of the study guide. Let's see here what it includes. Accredited exam, digital textbook, learning videos, exercise video library, practice exam and quizzes, job guarantee, bonus content. This is probably what you're paying for here, because it sounds exactly like the one I paid for, except it was much cheaper. Fundamentals of virtual coaching, learn how to train and manage clients virtually. Probably pretty important this day and age, but you're probably not getting too much out of that in the base personal training certification exam. So definitely don't spend $1,700 or $2,000 on this one. Let's see what else we got here. So I'll go to the cheapest one, the self-study program. That's definitely the one I got. It retails for $1,100, but it's 25% off until the 8th, which is tomorrow. It's $824. I've checked on the site a few times because I've taken a couple of their certs. It's always 25% off pretty much. I don't think I've ever seen them full priced. And check online, if you have that Honey app, or you literally just search online, NASM, ACE, ISSA, whatever certification you're going for, search discount codes and try them all. If you find one, awesome. If you don't, whatever. But at least try, because it'll save you a couple bucks in the long run. Next, I want to talk about opportunities and the growth potential as a certified personal trainer right now. It is the start of 2021. A lot of gyms closed back in 2020, depending on where you are because of COVID and whatnot. So I'd say there's growth potential depending on where you are and what the local regulations, if gyms are even open. Some states, gyms have been closed since March. It's going to be hard to find money/clients in a big box gym when they're not open or they're at 25% capacity and things like that. So the job growth outlook opportunities right now, it depends where you're looking to go in the fitness space. It kind of used to be you'd get your personal training certification, you go work at a big box gym, LA Fitness or your Edge or whatever the other big box gyms are, and you go work there for a few years, you gain some clientele, you learn how to program, things like that, and then you go to a smaller boutique gym or just a small local chain, or go start your own personal training. Clients, take them home, take them to your house, work out, be a traveling trainer, something like that. Start your own gym, things like that. That's really where the money's made. You're not going to make a ton of money training clients at LA Fitness for 30 minutes, 6-7 times a day. Obviously there's potential. There's people that make good money doing that, but you're probably not going to be the one that's making a bunch of money doing that. And if you are, good for you. Obviously keep doing what you're doing. You know more than I know, or you're better at making money in this environment than I am. So keep that in mind when you're looking, what are the opportunities around you? Do you live in the middle of nowhere? Is there only 2 gyms around you? Is there no gyms around you? Or are there 15 gyms around you? some of them are closed, some of them are open, so keep that in mind. Just make a Venn diagram or something like that. Give yourself some opportunities, give yourself a chance. You don't want to spend the money on this and then realize that there's 3 gyms around you and none of them have been open since March and there's absolutely no opportunities for you. So keep that in mind too. One more setting I forgot to mention is some sort of clinical setting. You could work as a physical therapy tech, or work some sort of physician's office, things like that. And you could work as like a exercise therapist or something like that. You're going to be doing the same exact things that you're doing as a personal trainer, except it's going to be more clinical. So they're not coming into an LA Fitness with goals of losing weight. They're coming into the physical therapist office or the chiropractor or whatever office they're coming into that you're working at. They're coming in there with pain and issues like that. And then you're just helping them as some sort of with corrective exercise, essentially. If it's just their daily activities, my job, sometimes I come in, sometimes I work with patients and I actually have programming for them, people I see often. Sometimes I see them once and I'm teaching them how to pick their laundry basket up without making their back pain flare up. So it really depends on where you're working, what your boss is like, things like that, what you're going to be doing in that setting. But I find I really got lucky because I'm not, with 7 other trainers trying to fight over clients or anything like that. I'm not putting ads online looking for clients outside of work and things like that. So it's nice. The money's coming in hourly and you're working with the patients. There's no stress. There's some stress, like any job's going to have some stress, but you're not super worried about, you're not running your own business. Essentially, you're helping someone else run their business. So it takes that stress off your plate. So I want to go over a couple more things. Study tips if you do decide to do this, and is it worth it? I'll cover is it worth it first. In case it's not worth it for you, and then you don't have to listen to me talk about study tips. But is it worth it? I think it depends where you want to go. Like I said, think about it's a personal situation. It's not going to be across the board yes or across the board no. So keep that in mind. It's going to be personalized. Is it worth it for you? If it's worth it for you, doesn't mean if it's worth it for me. So keep that in mind. If you're going to school, if you're going to be doctor, physical therapy, or whatever like that, and you're an undergrad and you just want to start getting some credentials, kind of a waste of money. I wouldn't do it, honestly. If you want to work as a personal trainer in the meantime while you're going to school or whatever, sure, go for it. If you want to be just a personal trainer, yeah, definitely worth it. You have to have some sort of credentials, in my opinion. You can literally go train people without any credentials, but I think it's pretty important to get, some credentials behind you, and then really start letting your clients and everything like that speak for themselves. You could have alphabet soup after your name. It doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. It has absolutely nothing to do with, yeah, you understood the stuff, you passed the test, but can you teach your client that stuff? Can you get it over to them? So half the battle isn't passing the test. It's getting your clients and your patients to implement everything you're trying to teach them. So is it worth it? Kind of expensive, but in my opinion, yes, it was worth it for me for what it's worth. I've taken 2 certs on there too. I have a corrective exercise specialization from them as well. I'll go over that maybe soon if that's worth it. And like that too, it depends. So maybe save yourself from watching that video and just depends. Is it worth it though? And so far for me, yeah, it's been worth it. Just having some sort of credentials behind my name and letting everything else speak for itself, and their education was okay. I don't think there was nothing groundbreaking. I hardly learned anything new going through there. But that also is going to depend on your background. Have you been exercising for a long time? Have you taken anatomy and physiology classes? Or you know absolutely nothing? Have you not worked out and you know nothing about the human anatomy? So you could have a tough time or an easier time depending. Some people, I'm sure, literally didn't study and passed the test on their first try. I think I studied for like a month. I just hammered home on some practice quizzes and stuff until I felt comfortable. I took it and it was super easy, so it's going to depend on your background. All right, study tips if it's worth it. Depending on which one you get, I think they have practice quizzes I bought the cheapest one, so they must all have practice quizzes and exams on there. So there's going to be one for each chapter. Each module, there's like 20 modules. Some of them are super short, some are a little bit longer. And they have I think it's a 10 question quiz at the end of each one. And then there is a 150 question practice exam. And I'll give you different questions and stuff like that. So go through each module, do your practice quizzes. And then at the end, once you do all those, what I would do is I'd do the practice quizzes, and then I would go do the practice exam until I was getting high enough scores that I felt comfortable. Just make sure you read the questions, because a lot of times they don't try to trick you, I don't think, but they'll just make sure you're reading it correctly, because the way they word things, sometimes it gets a little confusing and it might read like the same question as a different question, but it says something different and your brain just kind of skipped right over it. So just read slow if you don't want to fail and have to take the test again. I think they give you one free retake, but you don't want to have to even retake it if you don't have to, or definitely don't want to have to pay for a retake because you didn't read the whole question because you're getting antsy on question 75 or something like that. So just read the questions. Studying is going to depend on your studying habits and how you learn. I kind of just like to hammer those practice quizzes, practice tests, and flashcards if I need to, but I didn't even have to break out the flashcards for this program. So that kind of speaks to its how in depth it gets. It's nothing crazy. Like I said, if you've taken an anatomy class and you've lifted weights or exercise for more than a couple of years, you're not going to have any problems with this. You might learn something interesting, might learn something new. The chances are you'll just be going over some old information or relearning some old information. Depends on when you're taking this too. If you're 30 and you haven't gone to school in 8 to 12 years and you didn't take any anatomy or anything like that, a lot of this is going to be brand new to you and you might have a tough time taking this exam. In that case, you're really going to have to buckle down on your study tips. Really hammer those flashcards, get some sort of anatomical diagram. They sell them at a lot of stores or on Amazon for probably $1 or $2. I also used an app called Pocket Prep, I believe it was, and you have to pay for it, but it gives you a lot of questions, and it gives you a lot of different questions that they don't give on the practice exams and things like that. And that helped a lot because I would break it out if I was waiting in line at the store or just whatever, any reason you're on your phone, you go pull it out, and most people go on Facebook or whatever like that. You pull it out and you hammer out questions on Pocket Prep, and you could set quizzes for yourself and things like that. So you don't have much time, you could set it for a 5-question quiz. If you got some time, you're waiting at the DMV or something like that, you could put it on a 25, 50, or 100 question quiz, and it'll quiz you and it'll give you a grade at the end. It'll tell you what you got right, what you got wrong, what sections you need to work on, because whoever set it up broke it down into modules and things like that. So you learn a lot on there, actually. I like that app a lot. And like I said, I only studied for I think a month, so I think I only paid like $5 for it. If you have a busy life and this is more of like a year-long goal, it might end up being like $60, but it's worth it in my opinion. If you're paying the $1,000, $800 for the program, it's worth the $60. It's definitely worth paying the $60 for that, and then it would be paying the extra $500 for the elite program or whatever they call it. The only way I'd ever do one of those is if they wrap up a few certs into one thing, like the personal training certification, the corrective exercise specialist, performance exercise specialist, and nutrition specialist. Other than that, never pay for their bundle deals or anything like that, because they're just trying to sell you on junk essentially. You don't need any of that stuff they're trying to give you. They're trying to make a few extra $100 off of you for something it looks like you're about to purchase anyway. And that concludes this video. Let me know if there's anything in particular you guys would want to see, because I'm looking for ideas. I got a few written down, got a few that I'll probably shoot out with soon, but just some other ideas, things I'm probably not even thinking of. That would be cool. Other than that, if you like the video, share it, things like that. Give me your thoughts on what if you took ACE or ISA, or say you hated NASM, or anything. Just leave it in the comments. I'll see you next time though, friends. Have a great day.